Hello everyone, this is Anthony Ferracano, creator of North End Stories. This episode will be North End Stories The Artist, featuring writer-director Peter Horgan. He's the writer and director of How to Rob, which stars Chinasa Uche, Joshua Koopman, and believe it or not, I am a co-star of the film. Great film. If you haven't seen it, please watch. It's everywhere, streaming on Apple TV, it's for free on YouTube, Tubi, and it's also available on Amazon Prime. But this episode, we'll be talking about his upcoming film to be released November 12th, called Chooch, which I am one of the stars, as well as Joshua Koopman. Chooch is a great film. It was in 3 film festivals, one Worcester, IFF Boston, and the biggest one in the United States, Dances with Films Los Angeles, at the famous, used to be called Man's Chinese Theater, now called TCL Theater. Thing about this episode, we'll be speaking with Peter about why he chose the genre that he chose, crime stories, what films influenced him, how the process came about, and also what he has upcoming. One thing I want to point out at the end of this episode, we will be showing the trailer for Chooch, and on November 12th, I'll send out a little video showing you the link. So please like and share. We need as many people as possible to see this film. Not because I'm in it, because it's a great film. Unique and just something very special. Now on with the show. All right, we got director Peter Horgan, writer and director right here of the feature film How to Rob, which is streaming everywhere. I mean, literally everywhere. Also, he just directed Chooch about a year and a half ago, which is just coming out this week, if not this week, next week. Peter Horgan, what can I say? I've worked with you a few times. You've given me many opportunities in this business, and I really appreciate it. I just want the fans to know that you have so much talent, so much, not so much charisma, I'll be honest with you, you're a quiet guy, but I'm just saying you are a wonderful human being. All right, Pete, so we already introduced you to the audience at home. Now, let's talk about, I just want to talk about this alleyway right here. It's one of the scenes from Chooch. And why did you decide to film in this particular alley as opposed to any other part of the North End?
Just looks like the look of it. I think it's really pretty, really cinematic. And just when we were kind of scouting for the movie, I think the North End is one of the most beautiful neighborhoods in Boston, and it's held on to a lot of its European look to it. And
But it definitely has personality.
Yeah, so we just kind of walked around a lot. Walked around and looked at different areas that I thought would look good on camera, and this street was one of them, because I got in trouble for calling this an alleyway.
What was you told me the story, and there was a young lady,
Yes.
I won't mention her name, but she's a family friend, somebody I've known my whole life. What was the story?
Nothing, we were just, I think I was down here with Josh Koopman, and I don't know if we were scouting it or if we were shooting at this point. I think we may have been shooting.
Okay. Josh is the actor from Chooch, How to Rob, etc. Peter worked with him many times.
She kind of asked the same thing, like, oh, why this street? And I said, oh, I just love this alleyway. I think it looks really great for what we're trying to accomplish and everything.
Right.
And she gave me a speech about how it's not an alleyway.
Mm-hmm.
Alleyways don't have you're not able to go through an alleyway.
So she gave you a tongue lashing, huh?
It was a nice one. She was nice about it. But
So you're
it
saying
was
to
also,
explain the term of alleyway
Yeah.
as opposed to a dead end? and
Yeah,
whatnot?
exactly. It
Oh,
needs to have like a wall at the end of it for it to be
hilarious.
an alleyway.
That
She's
sounds
like,
like
this
a
is not
North
an
End born
alleyway.
and raised
And I was
person.
like, yeah, I loved it.
So let me ask you another question. So I know that there was a write-up in the Herald. It mentioned that you had a certain technique or style that kind of they talked about Mean Streets from Martin Scorsese, and they talked about your influences, like from directors Scorsese being one of them, Tarantino, and Francis Ford Coppola. I mean, did you watch those films growing up? Did you always like crime? Why did you get into? Because basically you've done a few films and they're like crime dramas, if you will, street level criminals and good guys, whatnot. But so.
Yeah.
Explain to us, like, is that just something you've always been interested in?
I've been obsessed with that stuff since I was a kid. I read a lot of that when I was growing up. I read a lot of like the Boston gangster stuff. I read about Whitey Bulger. I read like every biography that was written on him or written by someone who worked for him. I read about guys like Jerry Angulo growing up.
Obviously.
And then, yeah, I was obsessed with crime films. I was obsessed with Scorsese and Coppola and Tarantino and Michael Mann and all those types of crime films and everything. And yeah, I don't know. I just kind of always gravitated towards those types of stories. They always interested me. And you know, the last couple of years, I've just become obsessed with this French filmmaker, Jean-Pierre Melville, and I was listening to him describe why he made gangster films, because he made some of the best gangster films of all time. And he was saying that for him it was, the gangster film was a way for him to tell modern day tragedies. And that's why he was so interested in telling those stories. And that really resonated with me, because if you look at my screenplays that I write, a lot of them I would qualify as tragedies often. You know, I try to make you fall in love with these characters, and then inevitably horrible things tend to happen to them.
Well, if you fool around with bad things, things that aren't legal, if you will, but generally things aren't going to work out. You could be a one and done guy, I'd say, and never get caught. It's like gambling. You can go to a casino, win $5,000, and never bet again, and go home a winner. In this business, though, you seem to get back into it, and eventually it's going to catch up to you, right?
Sure.
He who lives by the sword dies by the sword. So
Something like that.
So let's go for a little walk and talk. We're gonna go for a walk if you don't mind. So don't mind the camera. We're gonna do this is called a walk and talk. This is what the gangsters used to do. They used to do things like this, so nobody would know what they're saying because there's a lot of mics. Speaking of which, as we walk down this way, we're gonna head to where the Angulo headquarters were, and he was the I guess you might say the Boston leader in the mafia family back in the day. So, Pete, let me ask you another thing. Chooch, where did this come from? I know that, you know, I'm in it, so obviously I have a little information. We did a script. He sent me a script years ago, a short film, whatnot, and it changed into How to Rob. It kind of evolved, and then we went back after How to Rob, which is unbelievable, a great film. You got to watch it. It's won many awards. It's also been in many film festivals, as has Chooch. Peter is an up-and-coming writer and director. You will be hearing a lot from him in the future, trust me. But back to Chooch. So it disappeared. Became How to Rob, kind of, sort of, and then we went back to it. Where did that come from?
Yeah, so basically what happened was I met you. I don't know when
Lucky
we met.
bastard.
It was probably like 2018, 2019 I met you. And people told me, you know, I should talk to you. You were into movies, and you hear that a lot.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I just want to get the Regina pizza while you talk. Go ahead. Go for it, pal.
You hear that a lot about people, that they're into movies, but it doesn't mean they're always obsessed with movies in the way that I am. And I met you, and you very clearly were, and we became friends over that. And as I got to know you more, you have such a personality. You struck me as someone who would be a good actor.
The comic book thing, is that because of me? Because I'm a comic book fan? I mean, how did that whole influence in the film? Because it's kind of what a contrast, right? Two gangsters getting together, sitting with a guy who collects comic books. Kind of weird, kind of cool.
I don't even know if that was in the original script, but I wrote Chooch for you. I wrote Chooch for you because I was trying to, it was almost like a practice run of like, I thought you could be a great actor, and I wanted to give you a little practice. So I wrote this little two-hander, just like two people inside.
Was it like a test, Pete, where you tested me to see if I could pass that before, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, a little bit.
All right. Be honest with the people here. They're not all morons, not all of them anyway.
A little bit of a test. But, so I wrote that. We were going to make it. And I don't think it had the comic book stuff in it, to be honest. I think it was in an apartment just like the one is now, and it didn't have all the stuff at the beginning or the end. It ended differently. Anyways, somehow I got sidetracked, and I just decided to make How to Rob instead. That was a script I'd also been working on around the same time, and just kind of went out on a limb and cast you in that.
Great sidetrack. Movie was very successful.
You were excellent. You were great in that.
Wow.
And you played a hitman. You killed it.
Not for me to say, but we did get a nice a write-up in the Boston Herald where they said I practically stole the movie. I'm just saying. Let's just keep moving on. Let's go back to it this way, Pete. Let's go back. I just want to show a little bit of the neighborhood. As you can see, this is where the Angulo's headquarters used to be. But
so anyways, I had put that script aside and I kind of forgot about it. And then last year, probably like late winter, early spring of 24, I was kind of eager to make something. I thought we were going to make our next feature film, and it didn't end up working out. So I wanted to shoot something and kind of apply all the knowledge I learned from the first feature onto another film. And
This was it. They sold the building. As many North End places are now, all the buildings are being sold. People are basically selling out, cashing in on the big money buildings, and they're being converted into condos and $500,000, $2 million condos. So it's not what it used to be, but we'll put up a picture. We'll show you how it used to look. But if I may interrupt for a second, right behind us here, where the FBI put their cameras and their bugs, and they would listen from here to where the Angulo headquarters were here. Anyway, that's how they got caught. The FBI, in my opinion, that's like cheating. But anyway,
yeah.
So let's go back to I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say there's a really good book on it that describes how the feds pulled that off.
I didn't mean to interrupt you with that whole Angulo talk, but go ahead.
It's all good. So last spring, I wanted to make something. I didn't know what it was going to be, and I watched Elaine May's film Mikey and Nicky with John Cassavetes and Peter Falk.
Cassavetes, a legend. In independent films, he's like one of the creators, if not.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
He's an indie film legend.
He's been pushing. That's what we talk about, the 60s and 70s. So
yeah, and I think Elaine May directed it, but I think some of his influence is definitely in there. But anyways, so I watched that film, and it was funny because I loved it, but the story was so similar to Chooch. And I was like, I should read that script. They're not the same, they're very different. But if you see Mikey and Nicky and you see Chooch, you'll understand what I'm talking about. So I went and picked the script up, and there's some things I really liked about it, and some things I thought could be punched up. So I punched up the script. I think that's probably when the comic book stuff got added, or maybe, I don't know, maybe that was there. But anyways, rewrote the script and talked to this crew of people who helped with How to Rob, and they were all interested in spending a weekend together and doing a little fun project, so we made it happen.
One thing I wanted to point out, being a part of these two films, I mean, Peter's done other things, believe me. He's got many feature films, one feature film, but he's got many shorts out there. But I've been involved in two, and it's always been the same crew. It's been the same director of photography, sound guy. Help me out, Pete. You know the
first AC gaffer.
It's like a group of us, right?
Team. Yeah.
And then you have the same actors. We had Josh Koopman that was in How to Rob, also was in Chooch with myself. We had Chanaz, we'll get him involved. He was in How to Rob as well. But it's just funny that we have kind of a family, or you have kind of a family, and it's nice to be a part of it for me. Let everybody know, give them just what Chooch is about, just a short, if you will.
Yeah, Chooch is about a kind of like a low-level street guy who is given the order to kill a man, and he's hesitant to pull the trigger, so he visits his best friend, played by you, who's a reformed gangster, seeking advice. Okay, very good. Well,
let me ask you this now. It's gonna be coming out. You'll have it's going to be like, I don't know, on YouTube, you'll have a link that the audience can see.
Yeah, I think the plan is November 12th.
Well, this is great. So Peter isn't from the North End, obviously, but I am. So, the show is North End Stories. But Peter is a big part of my life. And the films that we just talked about, How to Rob and Chooch, have been shot in the North End, not primarily. Chooch has been, but other locations as well. But definitely,
How to Rob had a couple
we did it in on Salem Street and in the Boston area. Peter is a Massachusetts or a film director. Let me ask you this, Pete. So as you grow in this field, do you always try to come back to like Massachusetts with films? Say you're a big Hollywood big shot in 10 years. Will you try to come back here to do your films, or will they always be? Let me ask you another. Put it in a different way. Will they always be kind of Boston films? Or you just? I mean, do you want to get like Boston or Massachusetts involved?
Yeah.
Or do you just want to just do crime stories in general?
Well, it's not necessarily Boston, but it's just all of Massachusetts.
Right, that's what I meant.
This is where I'm from, and I've lived in different parts of Massachusetts.
You grew up down the Cape?
I grew up on the Cape.
Okay.
Went to school in Boston, lived around Boston for a long time, lived in Quincy for a long time. I've gone out to Western Mass plenty of times, so I've seen a good chunk of the state, and I love to tell crime stories within it. Most of what I write is Massachusetts crime stories. So, yeah, I mean, my plan is to stay here and keep making films here. And it's not to say that I would never consider making a film somewhere else. But this is
the home,
what I know.
Right? It's what you know.
My home.
Right.
It's what I know. It's the people I know. And this is the stuff that interests me that I like to write about.
Awesome. It's awesome. Another thing I wanted to mention, Chooch, it did go to 3-4 film festivals. It actually went to one of the biggest, if not the biggest, film festival in Hollywood, Dances with Films, Los Angeles, and it was in the Chinese Theater. They used to call it Man's Chinese Theater. It's now the TCL Theaters.
Yeah.
But it's something, just to give you an idea how big this theater is. It was built in 1926, I believe. The film after our film, which was with a display of different films, and it's a festival, so a number of different films throughout the week. But after that, a week later, they premiered Superman. This is how big this theater is. It's the biggest one in Hollywood, the one with the handprints and the stars and whatnot. That being said, it's been very successful. It's gotten great write-ups. And what do you got for the future?
Hopefully the next feature film coming soon.
Do you have anything written up? Any ideas? Can you give us a name of anything? Can you give us like a little hint? Can you let the audience a little inside information?
Yeah. I got plenty of scripts, but the one that I'm focused on making next is a Christmas crime thriller. And this one takes place on the Cape. Yeah, so it's
like, hey, Merry Christmas, everybody. Give me your money. Like, it's pretty good.
Yeah, pretty much.
I like it. Looking forward.
Describe it as, if It's a Wonderful Life met Fargo, somewhere in the middle of that. So.
Not that I've seen the script. I'm just saying, but I'd love to give you a few details, but I won't because I may not be in it if I do. So. Pete, I just want to thank you very much. I'm really looking forward to working with you again, and obviously Josh and anybody else involved, and all the cast, all the crew members as well. All those guys are great. They're family to me. So,
am I the first guy you interviewed on this show that's not from the North End?
I think so, man. I think
every episode I've watched is North End.
Yeah, I might have to beat you up a little bit, just to, what I mean, kind of like straighten things out.
Yeah.
But you're also a special person, Pete, because you are a very talented young man. And, I'm not around a lot of people like you. And the thing about you that makes your talent so great is you won't get no for an answer. Pete will do whatever it takes to get his film. Mind you, he shot it in 12 days during COVID. Think about it. It's won many awards, and now it's on Apple TV, Amazon Prime, and it's streaming everywhere. So that's quite an accomplishment for a young man. That being said, I just want to thank you very much. I know you're going to get to work, and I just love you so much. Give me one, Ken. Be good.
I love you, brother.
I still have nightmares about the last time.
Get used to it, kid. You sure as don't need me to say this, but I'm gonna tell you anyway since you're here requesting my counsel. RDJ gives you a name, you take care of it. Or else he's giving your name to someone else. It's as simple as that, Frankie.
I know.